Hello there, it's the 10th of March 2020, and tonight I'm going to be having a bit of a chat about a few things, so here goes. So, many of you are aware of many things that are going on at the moment, and it's certainly brought to the front, if you will, certain things that many of us can do to help ourselves and help each other, help the environment, and just help so many things. And one of these things I'm going to be talking about is growing your own food. So one would expect this on a gardening channel, and that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about. So supply chains, bringing in things from abroad, getting them here in a timely fashion are in many ways not that easy at the moment for certain reasons. So think about this. Now, working as a maintenance gardener, I have the pleasure of dealing with a lot of older customers, and I talk to those, and I talk to them about how the UK was, back in, say, the 50s or the 60s, during the war, Second World War. And it's like amazing how plentiful everything was now compared to then. And food was in season, so you'd have your apples when the apples were in season. Okay, some were long keepers, but you generally wouldn't be taking a hard crunchy apple, buying one in the shops at, say, March or April or whatever. You'd have to wait until the new crop came. Now, of course, being able to get fresh produce year round it's a lovely thing, because for obvious reasons it is lovely, and I'm fully aware of this. But it wasn't really that long ago in terms of years, and where we've gone from there to here. And thinking about it, something's got to give, really. And I think about when I was a kid. I'm 35 now, and there was pick your own strawberry areas, quite plentiful. Don't see them that often now, do you? And of course, I know that the farmers have got to make money, and that's getting increasingly difficult due to various reasons. And of course, with pick your own strawberries, probably most of them, a lot of them got eaten on the field before they were weighed and paid for. So I understand this, but I think you get the point where I'm coming from. My great grandfather, he was a farm worker and lived on some land, that he rented off the farmer, probably or maybe the farmer he worked for, I don't know. But he used to grow so much food on, I think it was half an acre property. This is what I've been told, because no, I never met him, but he used to grow enough food to feed his 5 children, himself and his wife, and 7 people, or at least a lot of food. Now, of course, the majority of people don't have half an acre to, grow that on, and I understand that. I certainly haven't, as the majority of you are aware. But I've spoke about this 5% goal before, haven't I? About growing your own food. And if you can, 5% can be a great aim to shoot for. It's challenging, but yet it's not a massive goal in order so big that it terrifies people that they don't even try. So 5%, what is that? I don't know, 1 meal a week? Out of all the food that you eat, you grow enough to feed yourself for 1 meal a week. So of course, many people have got tiny gardens, and I'm aware that many people have no gardens. They live in an apartment, flat, house share, whatever. So of course this is going to be increasingly difficult. But I look on YouTube and I see people growing things, in the room that they rent. I see them growing things on windowsills, on balconies, in porches, window boxes on windowsills, just hanging there, tomatoes and courgettes, strawberries maybe, things like that. And okay, it's unrealistic for me to turn around and say, oh, people should grow all the food that they eat. It's just not going to happen. I don't do it. No, I don't do it. Most people who grow a lot of their own food don't grow all the food that they eat. But, 5% I think is quite a good aim, and yet it's not one it's not too lofty to achieve. And thinking about, just getting going with this, as I've said before, little steps about, the right time of year is coming up to grow our own food. The spring is here in many ways, and hopefully the weather will be good, and hopefully we can grow, plenty of our own food as much as we can. Because just imagine if everybody managed to grow everything they could. Okay, let's say they managed 1 or 2%. If everybody did that, it would take the pressure off a lot of things, wouldn't it? Things like potatoes, green vegetables, things like spinach, chard, kale, things that are cut and come again crops, so they don't take up much space, and you just pick them. Perpetual spinach, keep taking them, away you go. Potatoes, growing them in containers, and then you can store them. The potatoes that you don't eat, leave a bit of dirt on them, keep them in a dark place, even leave them in the buckets if you're growing them in buckets or on the ground, and store them. All these things that they just seem so simple, if you will, but yet they've been forgotten, haven't they, in many ways? Okay, probably not amongst the people watching this right now, because the chances are you're a gardener and you love this subject as much as I do. But I remember talking to someone a few years ago who didn't know how to grow potatoes, and me coming from a gardening family, and I thought, blimey, worrying about everything else, but yet doesn't even know how to grow potatoes. I'm not judging anybody here, because someone would say to me about, don't you know that, something that I don't know that I should, that they do. But the basic need for food, everything that's going on at the moment, and I'm not going to mention those things because it's not the place to do so. But it won't take you, if you're not aware, which I'm sure you are, it won't take you long to find out. But you just got to have a look on your news feed on your phone. If you still read newspapers, do people still read newspapers? Turn the news on and have a look, and just think and look at all these things. And I was talking to someone the other day who's in his 60s, and he was telling me about locally grown goods, or at least produce, as should be the term really, but UK grown produce, and whatever country you're in, grown produce. Okay, fine, we're not going to be growing mangoes and coconuts and bananas here, not easily anyway, without I'm getting at, providing the correct microclimates. But I think we really, holes in everything they're there, but can we help plug some of those holes ourselves? If some of us, everyone who can, everyone who's able, goes for it this year with the grow your own stuff, and aims for a goal of 5%, and the huge pressure that just that 5% will take off the overall system. I think if we all aim for that, that's the aim I'm going for. I think if we aim for that, that'd be a very, very well spent piece of effort. Okay, enough of that. You understand where I'm coming from. All the best. Garden season's coming up. And if you want to, comment down below about the amount you're willing to have a go at growing. As I said, I've said this before, if it's only even a few radishes on a windowsill in a little pot, that's the start. From small things like this come big things like that. And it all starts with that first step of effort, that first step of trying. There's plenty of information out there on how to do these things. You can look on my channel, you can look on other people's channels, you can look in books. As I said before, you can sit down in a few months, he'll be back on, won't he, Monty Don? Sit down for half an hour, for an hour on Gardener's World with him. The information is out there. All the best. And of course, always, if you like Dan's work, you can please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and you can check me out on Dan_Home Gardens if you're interested. See you next time.